Hello everyone, I am Hora De Historias and I am here to help you today. I know you use this video to fall asleep, so before that like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also tell us where are you from and what time are you watching now. Get comfortable and relax. Story 1. It was late in the afternoon and the sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the highways. I pulled into a rest stop. The road had been empty for miles. A vast stretch of asphalt cutting through the barren landscapes. Our stop was a small oasis with a few picnic tables, a couple of vending machines. In a restroom facility, I parked my car and stepped out, stretching my legs and relishing the cool breeze that offered some relief from the day's heat. I made my way to one of the picnic tables and sat down, taking a moment to enjoy the quiet. There were a few other cars in the parking lot, but it was mostly empty. I pulled out my phone to check for messages, but the signal was weak. I decided to grab a drink from the vending machines. I walked over. I noticed a man approaching from the other side of the rest area. He was tall with a scruffy beard and a baseball cap pulled low over his edges. Walked with a pep asphalt stride, and something about him set off a faint alarm in my mind. Excuse me, he called out as I got closer. Can you help me with something? I paused my hand, having over the button and the vending machine. Sure, what do you need? I replied, trying to keep my tone casual. The man stopped a few feet away, his hands shoved into the pockets of his worn jeans. I'm a bit lost, said his voice, thin with a sudden draw. Can you tell me how to get to the nearest town? Nada. Then pulled out my phone, squinting at the screen to try and find a map. I think the nearest town is about Wins East, I said, pointing down the way. You should be able to see signs for it along the way. The man stepped closer, his edges narrower. As he studied me, you traveling alone? He asked. His tone casual but with an edge that made me uneasy. I hesitated, feeling a prickly of unease. No, I'm meetings and friends further down the road. I like hoping to deter any potential threat. We just taking a road trip. He nodded slowly, but I could see gears turning in his mind. That sounds nice. He said, his gasoline hearing on for a moment too long. You must be pretty brave to stop here by yourself. Don't not many people around you now. He forced a smile, trying to make me grow in discomfort. Yeah, well, I'm used to it. Done a lot of solo trips before. The man didn't seem convinced. He shifted on his feet, glancing around the area as if looking for something or someone. Where you headed to? He asked. Is Tone now more insistent? Just a little vacation. I said, keeping my answers deliberately vague, exploring a few national parks, and added again, his eyes narrowing slightly. Sounds like a good time. As I slowly you got family waiting for you back home. I felt my heart rate quick and the alarm bells in my head growing louder. His questions were becoming increasingly personal, and I didn't like the direction this conversation was heading. Either expecting me, I said, firmly hoping to signal that I wasn't as vulnerable as he might seem. The man took another step closer, his presence now feeling invasive. You got a husband or a boyfriend? Asked his voice, dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. Someone who'd come looking for you if he didn't show up. I felt as a job panic, but forced myself to stay calm. Yes, actually, I said, my voice steady. He's a cop, and he's expecting me to check in soon. If he don't, he'll come looking for me. For a moment, the man's expression flickered with something like uncertainty. He took a step back, his eyes darting on the rest stop on the motorway. I'd better let you get on your way, Benny, sighed, his tone suddenly lighter. Don't want to keep you from your trip. In nada, trying to appear nonchalant, even as my pulse raised the so we'll get going, he said, backing away slowly. Good luck finding your way. He watched me for a moment longer before turning and walking back towards the parking lot. I quickly made my way back to my car, glancing over my shoulder to make sure he wasn't following on since they lacked the doors and started down. My hands trembling as he gripped the steering wheel as he drove away. I kept checking the rearview mirror, half expecting to see the man's car trailing behind me, but the road remained empty, and after a few miles I began to relax slightly. The encounter had left me shaken, but I was grateful that I had managed to keep my wits about me. I drove for another hour before finding a more populated rest stop, where I finally felt safe enough to pull over and take a break. I called a friend to share what had happened, needing to hear a familiar voice to calm my nerves. As I recounted the encounter, I realized how close I had come to a potentially dangerous situation. The man's invasive questions and unsettling demeanor had been a stark reminder of the risks that come with traveling alone. From that day forward, I promised myself to be more cautious and to trust my instincts. The open road still called to me, but I would approach it with a new awareness, always mindful of the potential dangers that lurked in the shadows. The wet wall was vast and beautiful, but it was also unpredictable, and I knew that I needed to be prepared for whatever challenges might come my way. Story 2. The remote cabin nestled in the heart of the woods was a welcome retreat from the relentless pace of city life, surrounded by towering pines and a blanket of stars. It promised solitude and tranquility, a perfect escape from the demands of work and the constant tumult of an existence that tried to say Kevin was uneventful to winding roads gradually, giving way to rugged trails that tested the limits of my SUV. By the time I seasoned deep below the hills and casting long shadows that danced in the glow of my headlights I unpacked my belongings, saving the silence that enveloped se. Secluded in the wise first night passed without incident. I spent the evening reading by the fireplace, the crackling flames providing a comforting soundtrack to the whispering windows as the fire died down in the cabin, grew cold and retired to the rustic bedroom, falling asleep to the distant toad of fennel. The following day was spent exploring surrounding woods, hiking along trails that meandered through dense undergrowth and along edges of crystal clear streams. The air was crisp and invigorating the scent of pine needles in it, a refreshing change from the city's smog. By the time I returned to the cabin, the sky was a canvas of deep blues and purple stars beginning to peek through the twilight exhausted from sea. They sat benches I settled into bed early, letting the sounds of the forest lull me to sleep. It was a deep dreamless slumber broken only by the occasional creak of the cabin settling or the rustle of leaves since the night breathed in at precisely last 3 a.m. I was jolted awake by a loud insistent knocking on the door, heart pounding. I lay still for a moment, trying to discern if it had truly heard the noise or if it was a figment of a half-formed dream. Knock came again louder, this time reverberating through the cabin's wooden walls. I set up adrenaline coursing through my veins and reached for the flashlight and the nightstand, fumbling with the switch. I cast a beam of light down the room. Shadows retreating to the corners. The knocking persisted steady and deliberate as if someone or something was demanding entry. I slipped out of bed, every sensation highlighted, and crept towards the door. Hello, I called out, my voice wavering slightly. Who's there? There was no response, only unlit, relentless knocking. Summoning my Jano approached the door and peered through the pearly darkness. Greeted me an impenetrable void broken only by the faint outline of trees swaying in the wind. No figure stood on the porch, no shadow or form visible. In the moonlight, with a trembling hand, I unlocked the door and slowly opened it, the hinges creaking in protest. The cold night air rushed in, sending a shiver down my spine. I stepped onto the porch, scanning the surroundings with the flashlight. Being cut through the darkness, revealing only the empty clearing in the forest beyond. Is anyone there? I called out again, my voice stronger this time. Silence was my only answer for a seemingly holding its breath in anticipation. Une cane settled over me as I retreated back into the cabin, closing and locking the door behind me. I checked the window, securing each one and ensuring that all the locks were in place. My mind raced to it possibilities. Had it been an animal, a trick of the wind, door was someone playing a cruel joke? Knowing the cabin was isolated and far from help, sleep eluded me. Further step the night, I lay in bed listening intently for any further disturbances. Knocking did not return, but the memory of it lingered. A constant reminder of the unending encounter. When dawn finally broke, casting a pale light through the cabin's windows, I felt a sense of relief as if the day's arrival could vanish the first of the night. The following days passed without incident. I continued to explore the woods, though I found myself constantly looking over my shoulder. The piece of the forest, noting reeds and savannas. The memory of the knocking haunted me and unresolved misstated whether the edges of my mind. On the final night of my stay, I decided to confront my fear head-on. I set up a camera on the porch aimed at the door, hoping to capture any evidence of the nocturnal visit. As the clock approached las 3 a.m., I lay in bed very muscle tense, waiting for the knocking to return, and it did. Right and Cuselo with insistent knocking echoed through the cabin. My heart raced. I watched the door to sound relentless and unnerving. I glanced at the camera feed on my phone, hoping to see the source of the disturbance, but the porch remained empty. The camera captured nothing but the stillness. Often the desperation and frustration welled up inside me. I grabbed the flashlight and stormed to the door, flinging it open with more force than intended. The knocking ceased abruptly, leaving only the echo of my pounding heart and the whisper of the wind. Once again, there was no one there. The forest stood silent and unmoving, indifferent to my plight. I shouted into the darkness, demanding answers from the unseen force that tormented me, but the only response was the rustle of lips in the distant call of an owl. Defeated, I returned to the cabin and locked the door behind me. Exhaustion overtook me, and I finally fell into a restless sleep. The mystery of the midnight canoe unsolved. When I left the cabin the next morning, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was leaving something behind. The question unanswered of fear and addressed as I drove away. The memory of the knocking haunted me, a reminder that some mistakes are never meant to be solved. Then some encounters with the unknown. Live Alestin marked the soul story 3, living alone in a small apartment in the city, had its specs. The space was my own, a cozy sanctuary, where I could unwind after long days at work, ustle, and basal Abeban life seemed wells away. 11. I closed the door behind me. My apartment was on the 4th floor, tucked away in a quiet corner of the building with large windows that let in plenty of natural light and the balcony that overlooked Trelline Street one night este particularly exhausting. They decided to tuteninelli, the gentle ham of the city would see the was a comforting backdrop as he slipped into bed the soft sheets and cool from the open window, lulling me into a deep sleep. Almost immediately sometime in the middle lapse, night a strange sensation pulled me from my slumber. I couldn't quite place it at first as a shift in the air, an instinctive sense that something was off my eyes, flattened open, adjusting to the dim light felt the intrusive curtains and then, I saw him, a man was standing at the foot of my bed for a split second. I was paralyzed with fear, my mind struggling to comprehend the sight before me. He was tall with a shadowy figure that seemed almost sailing the faint light. My heart pounded. In my chest the adrenaline surging through my veins as reality setting. I screamed the sound piercing the silence of the night, and the man bolted disappearing into the darkness of my apartment. The sound of his heavy footsteps echoed through the highway followed by the slam of the front door as he fled. I stumbled out of bed, my legs shaking, and rushed to the door, locking you with trembling hands. My mind was racing a whirlwind of fear and confusion. How had he gotten in? Who was he? My breath came in short panicked gasps as I tried to get my thoughts fumbling for my phone. I dialed 911, my voice shaking as he explained the situation to the dispatcher. They assured me that officers were on their way and advised me to stay on the line until they had huddled on the floor near the door, my back against the wall. Every creak and shadow magnified by my tenant senses. Minutes felt like hours, but finally I heard the reassuring sound of sirens approaching and knock on the door made me jump. But the voice and side identified itself as the police and locked the door and let them in. The light washing over me at the sight of their uniforms. The officers were calm and professional, asking me to recount what had happened. As I described the intruder searched the apartment, checking every room and window. They found no sign of forced entry, which only deepened the mystery. It was as if the man had vanished into thin air. They stayed with me for a while, their presence a comforting barrier against the lingering fear. One of the officers, a kind woman with a steady demeanor, suggested that I call a friend or family member to stay with me for the night. She also recommended changing the locks and installing additional security measures after they left. I called my best friend Megan, who lived a few blocks away. She arrived within minutes, wrapping me in a comforting hug and assuring me that everything would be okay. Together we went over every detail, trying to make sense of what had happened. The rest of the night, pestinable, we stayed up drinking tea and talking until the first light of dawn began to creep through the windows. Megan offered to take the day off work to help me get new locks installed, and a security system. Her support was a lifeline grounding me in the aftermath of the terrifying ordeal. Over the next few days, I took every precaution to secure my apartment. New locks were installed, the security system was set up, and even added a few motion sensor lights outside the building. It Meche brought a small meche a piece, but seemingly of that night lingered a shadow. The confused doubt dispelled. I also spoke to my neighbors, alerting them to what had happened. They were shocked and concerned, offering their own support and vigilance. It was a small comfort to know that others were looking out for me, but the sense of violation was hard to shake. The police continued to investigate, but there were no leads. The man who had stood at the foot of my bed remained a Fenta mis intentions and identity a traveling enigma. I found myself replaying this scene over and over in my mind, searching for any detail that might provide a clue. In the weeks that followed, life gradually returned to a semblance of normality. Heightened security measures helped us, did se, and were in support of my friends and family, but the experience had changed me. I was more cautious, more aware of my surroundings, and more appreciative of the safety I had once taken for granted. Living alone was no longer the same carefree experience it had been before, but I refused to let fear dictate my life. The intruder had taken my sense of security, but he would not take my independence or my resolve to create a safe, comfortable home. Every night as I locked my door and set the alarm, I reminded myself that I was stronger than the fear that had gripped me. The city made outside a constant living entity that I was a part of, and within my small apartment, I reclaimed my sanctuary. One day, ETA Team Story 40 road trip was supposed to be a refreshing escape, a chance to clear me out and break free from the monotony of everyday life. I had planned my route carefully, selecting scenic byways and charming small towns to visit along the way. The journey had been pleasant so far, with rolling hills, lush forests, and quaint little stops that in the landscape, and at the day of my trip I found myself in a sleepy town that seemed frozen, and in time it was nearing noon, and my stomach growling protest reminding me that I hadn't eaten since breakfast. I pulled into a small dinner that looked like it had been plucked straight out of the 1950s, complete with neon signs and checked floors. The smell of fresh coffee and frying bacon wafted through the air as I stepped inside. The diner was nearly empty save for a few locals who nodded politely as I found a seat at the counter. The waitress, a friendly woman without words, me handed me a menu and took my order. I chose a classic veggie and fries along with a large coffee to keep me alert. Further stand my drive while he waited for my food. He chatted with the waitress and the cook, who seemed delighted to have a new face in their establishment. They told me stories about the townits. He stayed in the various characters who had passed through over the years. It was comforting this lies of Americana, and I felt a sense of ease that had been missing in my life for a while. My food arrived quickly, and the doing with gusto the vege was delicious, the fries crispy and golden just so. While I ate mass near the end of my meal, I noticed something unusual. There was a small folded piece of paper tucked under my plate. Frowning, I picked it up and unfolded it, revealing a hastily scrawled message: "Don't look back at children." Down my spine as I stared at the note, it felt like a scene from a thriller movie, but this was real, and it was suddenly filled with Anis, who had left this note, and I glanced down the dine. That a few patrons were engrossed in their own conversation, seemingly oblivious to my discovery. I paid for my meal, left a generous tip, and headed out to my car. Bright sunlight and the warm breeze did little to dispel the anxiety that had settled over me as I started tension and pulled out of the parking lot. The words of the note echoed in my mind. Don't rock back, the road stretched out before me, empty and inviting, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched by so. Often I glanced in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see someone or something trailing me, but there was nothing, just endless ribbon of asphalt and the occasional passing car out space, and the landscape began to change from rural countryside to more familiar suburban pants prowls the sun. Deep below the horizon, casting long shadows that seemed to dance and flicker the edges of my beach, and my hands gripped the steering wheel tightly, knuckles white with tension as night fell the road grew darker, illuminated only by the glow of my headlights. It turned on the radio, hoping music might distract me from the creeping sense of dread that had been my companion since the dinner, but every song seemed to take an as instant the tone, and the static between stations felt like whispers in the dark. As I forest stop appeared, and I decided to pull over and take a break till it was empty. Restrooms closed for the night. I parked on the alone street lamp and stepped out of the car, stretching my legs and trying to shake off the lingering unease. The air was cool, and still the only sound, the distant hum of the highway. As I stood there, I felt a prickling sensation, and the back of my neck as if eyes were boring into my front shadows. It turned quickly, scanning the area, but saw nothing out of the ordinary. Just an empty stop bathed in the eerie glow of the street lamp. I hid back to my car, locking the doors as soon as I was inside. The note had fried my nerves, turning an ordinary road trip into a journey fraught with paranoia and fear. I needed to get home to the safety and familiarity of my own surroundings. The rest of the drive was a blur of darkness and headlights evacuating the road. Every shadow seemed to hold potential than Herbie said. Tim I reached my driveway. I was exhausted, my mind racing with questions and fears. I parked the car and hid inside, locking the door behind me. The house was quiet, a sanctuary from the nightmarish drive, but as I stood there alone in the dark, notes were echoed once more in my mind. Don't look like sleep was elusive. That night every creak of the house, every rustle of the window outside kept me on edge. The note had turned my peaceful road trip into a haunting experience, one that would linger in my thoughts for days to come. In the light of day, the fear seemed almost irrational, but the memory of that note and the tension me remained vivid. I never found out who left it or why, but it left me with a lingering sense of caution. Reminded that sometimes the most unexpected moments can turn ordinary life into a suspenseful tale story. 5. The graveyard shift at the convenience store was usually a monotonous library stacking shelves, ringing up the occasional night owl and nursing cups of stale coffee to stay above the encroaching fatigue. The store's fluorescent lights buzzed faintly overhead, casting a cold sterile glow on the aisles lined with snacks and necessities. It was a routine I had grown accustomed to, a quiet rhythm that rarely deviated from the norm. One particular night as the clock inched past 12, and the sense of unease settled over me. The store was empty, save for the faint hum of the refrigeration units and the distant drone of a late night talk show on the small TVM near the counter. Quiet was almost oppressive, the silence heavy with anticipation. I was organizing the shelves near the back of the store when I heard the chime at the front door. Glancing up, I saw a man and a tall thin, dressed in a dark coat and a wide-brimmed hat that cast a shadow over his face. There was something unsettling about him, a sense of stillness that seemed to cling to him. As he moved silently through the aisles, "Good evening," I called out, my voice echoing slightly in the empty store. The man didn't respond, continuing his silent pause of the shelves. I shook head it, returning to my desk with a lingering sense of discomfort. The minutes passed, and when I looked up again, the man was gone. He hadn't heard the chime of the door signaling his departure, but I assumed I had left while he was preoccupied with a sigh. I returned to the counter, glancing at the security manatees out of habit. What is on the screens made me blood run cold. The footage showed the man entering the store, his movements slow and deliberate, as he walked down the aisles, but then tenda corner he simply vanished. One moment he was there as a doughy figure moving through the store, and the next he was gone. No trace, no explanation, y rewound the footage, watching it again with growing. And as there was no glitch, no indication of a malfunction, the man had entered the store and disappeared without a trace, leaving me staring at the screen in bewilderment. A chill and down my spine as I scanned the stop the footage, hoping for some rational explanation, but there was nothing. No sign of the man reappearing, no evidence of his presence. Beyond that brief inexplicable moment I glanced down the store, half expecting to see him lurking in the shadows, but the aisles were empty. Bathed in the harsh fluorescent light, I couldn't shake the feeling of pain, watch a prickling sensation and the back of my neck that made my skin crawl. I tried to distract myself with the mundane tasks of the night, but my thoughts kept returning to the mysterious man and his sudden disappearance. As the hours dragged on, I found myself constantly checking the security manates, my eyes darting to the corners of the store where shadows seemed to linger just a bit too long. Maybe I creak and rustle. Set my nepson at him, my imagination contained all manner of sinister scenarios. Around las 4 a.m. se chime of the door startled me from my thoughts. I looked up to see a regular customer, an elderly man, WHO lived down the street entering the store for his huge pack of cigarettes in morning paper. I greeted him with a forced smile, grateful for the distraction at night. He asked, his voice a comforting balm to my fragile nerves. Yeah, you could say that, I replied, ringing up his items with hands that still trembled slightly. Have you ever noticed anything strange down here? He gave me a curious look, his eyes narrowing slightly, strange, like what. I hesitated, unsure how to explain what I had seen. I don't know, just that things, people coming and going without me noticing that sort of thing. The old man chuckled, shaking his head. Sounds like the graveyard shift is getting to you. This place can do that. You now playing tricks on your mind when you're all alone. I forced a left, nodding in agreement. Yeah, maybe you're right. After he left the store, fate silent. On the morning is stillness, settling over me like a shroud. I returned to the security manates, unable to resist one last look at the photogete image of the man, vanishing replayed in my mind. Puzzle with no solution. When my shift finally ended, the first light of dawn creeping through the store's front windows, I left with a sense of relief. The mystery of the disappearing man lingered in my thoughts, a haunting reminder of the inexplicable events that could unfold in the quiet hours of the night. Over the following weeks, I continued to walk the graveyard shift, my eyes always darting to the security monitors, half expecting to see the man again, but he never appeared. This presence of fleeing shadow in the memories of that one unsettling night. The experience left me with a lingering sense of unease, reminded that even in the most mundane of places, the unknown could always be lurking just beyond the edge of perception. Story 6. The old building had stood for decades, a testament to a bygone era's weathered facade, boarded up windows, and crumbling brickwork. David and a very abandonment. It was a warm Saturday afternoon when my friends and I decided to explore it. We had always been drawn to the mysterious, the forgotten, and the hidden in this abandoned building. Had been on our radar for months. Jake, Lily, and Digger that were here flashlights, cameras, and backpacks filled with necks and water instead of toward the old building. As we approached the looming structure, seemed to cast a shadow over us, its silent presence both inviting and foreboding. Are you sure about this? Lily asked, her voice tinged with nervous excitement. I Jack replied, grinning, what's the worst that could happen? It's just an old building. I nodded, trying to mask my own apprehension. Let's go. We've talked about this for months. The entrance was partially blocked with debris, but we managed to squeeze through a gap in the board since the sea was thick with dust, and the must sent up decay sunlight filtered through broken windows, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The floor was littered with remnants of the past, discarded furniture, tattered books, and rusted metal fragments. We moved cautiously, our footsteps echoing in the vast empty halls. Each room we entered seemed to hold a story, a glimpse into the lives of those who had once inhabited this place. We took pictures, marveling at the beauty of the surroundings. As we ventured deeper into the building, we came across a large room that appeared to have been a common area. Faded paintings adorned the walls, and an old piano stood in one corner, its case yellow wet with age. It was here that we first noticed something unsettling signs that some anemic belly been there. The sleeping bag was neatly laid out in one corner, next to a small stack of canned food. In a half-empty water bottle, a worn-out backpack leaned against the wall, and nearby a small fire pit with which she suggested recent use. The realization that we were not alone in this building sent a chill down my spine. Guys, look at this, I whispered, pointing to the makeshift camp. Jake and Lily turned, their expression shifting from curiosity to concern. Do you think someone is living here? Lily asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Looks like a, Jake replied, his brow felt. We should be careful. We decided to continue our exploration, but our excitement was now laced with caution. The discovery had changed the atmosphere Eve click and distant noise zetasanech. We moved silently away since his height and let for any science of the building's mysterious occupant, as we made our way through the building we found more evidence of recent habitation empty food repes. A worn jacket draped over a chair and a flashlight. With fresh bettes, the thought that we were being watched naded us making the abandon. Structure feel increasingly claustrophobic. Our nerves were fright, but the time we decided to leave the settings and cast long shadows through the broken windows, and the building's silence seemed to deepen. And simplifying every sound were retraced away. Steps moving quickly, but carefully get to reach the safety outside the world as we near the entrance, the unmistakable sound of footsteps echoed by windows. We froze, exchanging fearful glances. Footsteps grew louder, drawing closer, and I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. Someone's following us. Jack says white with fear. We broke into a runaway footsteps pounding in sync with the mysterious pesos the exit loomed ahead. Sliver of daylight of faint hopeway scrambled through. Segepin the boards, besting into the open air with gasps of relief. We didn't stop running until we were a good distance from the building, finally collapsing into Segra's panting and shaking. Abandoned structure loomed in the distance, its silent facade hiding whatever or whoever had been following us. Did you see who it was, Lily? Asked her voice, trembling. Jake shook his head, still catching his breath. No, just head them, but we need to tell someone about this. We agreed a wet bench. Turning into a story of caution and warning, the excitement of exploring the abandoned building had been replaced by a lingering sense of unease. We couldn't shake the faint feeling that we had into the dawn. Someone's hidden refuge and that our presence had not gone unnoticed in the following days. We reported our findings to the local authorities. They promised to investigate, but we never had any updates. The building remained abandoned, its secrets and inhabitants shrouded in mystery. Our experience became a cautionary tale among our friends, a reminder of dancing dangers that can lurk in forgotten places. We had gone in search of adventure and found it, but not in the way we had expected. Me made up those footsteps following us would stay with us, a chilling reminder of the unknown lurking just out of 6:37 late one night as the city buzzed gently outside my window. I settled into my small apartment after a long day at work. Evening had been an eventful, filled with the usual routine of cooking dinner, watching a bit of TV, and finally deciding to call it a night. The apartment complex was typically quiet at this hour, and the occasional sound of a passing car or a distant siren. The only disturbances as I brushed my teeth. Sudden the caught from the front door, breaking the silence. My heart skipped a beat, and the post-brush still in and listening intently. Nothing followed the initial noise, so I shook it off, attributing it to a neighbor or perhaps a delivery. Left at the round door, curious at got the better of me, and I walked to the front door, flipping on the hallway light. Through the peephole, I saw nothing out of the ordinary. I hesitated before unlocking and opening the door just enough to peek outside. The hallway was empty, but there on the floor, just inside the threshold, was a folded piece of paper. I picked it up, my fingers trembling slightly, unfolding the paper. My eyes scanned the hastily scrawled words and me blathering cold lived hours of consequences as a job fear washed over me. WHO could have left this note. My mind raced with possibilities, none of them comforting. I quickly shut and locked the door, double-checking the deadbolt and chain for extra security. My apartment, which had always felt like a safe haven, suddenly seemed ominous and vulnerable. I paced the small living room, the note clutched tightly in my hand. Should I call the police? The warning was vague but undeniably threatening. My gut told me to take it seriously, but another part of me wondered if it was just a cruel prank. Determined to be proactive, I grabbed my phone and dialed 911. The dispatcher's can voice helped steady my nerves as he explains the situation. She assured me that enough as I would be dispatched to check on me and survey the area. Minutes felt like hours as I waited the very creak and ran up the old building, making me jump. Finally, there was a naked door peering through the peephole. I saw the reassuring figure of a police officer. Opened the door, the sense of relief, almost overwhelming. The officer, a middle-aged man with kind eyes, introduced himself as Officer Martinez. He listened attentively as he recounted the evening's events. Taking the note from me and examining it closely, you did the right thing by calling us aside. We'll do a thorough check-up the building in the surrounding area. Officer Martinez and his partner conveyed through the hallways and stairwells, speaking with a few neighbors who had been awakened by the commotion. One had seen anything suspicious, and there were no other reports of similar notes. After their search, Officer Martinez returned to my apartment. We didn't find anything unusual, but we'll increase patrols in the area for the next few nights, he said. In cement may views or hear anything else out of the ordinary, don't hesitate to call. I thanked him and locked the door on the more after he left the apartment. Felt eerily silent. The shadows seeming to press in from every corner. Sleep was out of the Question instead de myself a capacity and tried to read my mind, struggling to focus on anything other than the note. The next day exhaustion weighed heavily on me as I went through my routine at work. I found myself distracted, jumping at the sound of every unexpected noise my coworkers noticed me, and instantly confided in a few close friends about the note. They expressed concern and offered their support, suggesting I stay with one of them for a few nights until things settled down that evening. I decided to take them up under of a pecking. A small baggie left my apartment, glancing over my shoulder more than once as I made my way to my friend Sarah's place across town. Her apartment felt warm and inviting, the stark contrast to the attention I had left behind over the next few days. I kept in close contact with the police, who continued to patrol my neighborhood and checking on my apartment. No further incidents occurred, and gradually my fear began to subside. Officer Martinez kept me updated, explaining that they were still investigating, but her knowledge Sarah's presence was a comforter, cheerful demeanor and constant reassurance, helping to ease my anxiety. We spent the evenings talking, watching movies, and trying to restore a sense of normality. A week later, with no new developments, I decided it was time to return to my apartment. Sarah accompanied my protective instincts in full swing. Together we thoroughly checked the apartment, ensuring everything was secure. I slowly returned to normal, but the experience left a lasting impact. I took additional precautions, installing a security system and being more vigilant about my surroundings. The note had been a stark reminder of how fragile our sense of security could be. Months passed without further incidents, and I began to reclaim the peace of mind I had lost. Yet the memory of that night lingered, a reminder to always stay alert and trust my instincts. I never discovered who had left a note or why, but I remained grateful for the support of friends and the diligence of the police, who had helped me navigate through a dark and unsettling chapter of my life story. 8. The night was unusually quiet, the kind of stillness that amplifies every sound and sharp and every sensation. I was eaten by the campfire, its crackling flames, the only source of light and warmth in the vast expanse of the wilderness. The sky above was a blanket of stars, the Milky Way stretching across it like a shimmering river. The dense forest surrounding my campsite was a dark wall, impenetrable and mysterious. I had chosen this remote spot for its isolation, eager to escape the pressures of daily life and lose myself in nature's embrace. There were no trails or campsites nearby, just miles of untamed wilderness. It was the perfect place for solo to do so. I had noticed as the fire began to dwindle. I added a few more logs and settled back in my chair, listening to the night sounds, the occasional rustle of leaves, the distant hoot of an owl, and the soft murmur of a nearby stream were all familiar and comforting. But then, piercing through the tranquility, came a sound that sent a shiver down my spine, a distant cry for help. It was faint, barely audible over the crackling fire and the forest. Nocturnal symphony, but unmistakable. Someone was out there in distress, calling for help. I froze, straining my ears to catch the sound again, to be sure I hadn't imagined it. After a few moments, the cry came again, clearer this time, and undeniably human. My first thought was that someone had gotten lost, but that seemed unlikely. I knew these woods well, and there were no trails or campsites in the direction the sound had come from. The area was dense and difficult to navigate, even for an experienced hiker. A chill of fear crept over me, mingling with concern for whoever was out there. I grabbed my flashlight in a jacket, my heart pounding in my chest, rationally battled with instinct as I considered my next move. Heading into the woods at night was risky, especially with no clear path and only the distant cries to guide me, but I couldn't ignore the plea for help. Shining the flashlight ahead, I ventured into the forest, my boots crunching under the growth. The beam of light cut through the darkness, illuminating twisted branches and gnarled roots. The cries for help grew louder, more desperate, and I quickened my pace, pushing through thick foliage. Minutes felt like oases. I stumbled through the underbrush, the cries guiding me deep into the heart of the forest. Every shadow seemed to conceal hidden dangers, and every snap of a twig set my nerves on edge. The darkness was oppressive. The beam of my flashlight, barely penetrating the thick canopy above, finally reached a small clearing. In the cries abruptly stopped. Silence felt heavy and suffocating. I swung the flashlight down the ground, searching for any sign of the peasant who had called for help. The clearing was empty save for a few scattered rocks and fallen branches. I called out, my voice sounding strange and hollow in the stillness. Hollow is any wonder, my words echoed through the trees, but there was no response, only the silence and the oppressive darkness pressing in around me. A sense of unease settled over me. Something was not right. I had heard the cry so clearly, yet now there was no trace of anyone. I scanned the ground for footprints or any sign of disturbance, but found nothing. It was as if the forest was wide awake. The cries and the peasant who made them fear hewed at me, and I decided it was best to return to my campsite. Hesitant to leave, a cold breeze swept through the clearing, rustling the leaves and sending a shiver down my spine. The forest seemed to What made its ancient trees whispering secrets? I couldn't understand back at my campsite, Sephiroth advent glow casting long shadows that danced flicked in the dim light, yet that more wood rekindling the flames, and sat down trying to make sense of what the penance cries for help still echoed in my mind haunting, and unanswered at sleep was elusive that night as a blips and crack of branches jolted me awake my mind, replaying the events over and over, had it been a tricapse. Wine Dorat Someone truly been out there, needing help, and if so where had they gone a morning, brought no answers, only a lingering sense of unease. I picked up me hair ready to leave the forest and its mistakes behind as he drove away the memory of the cries for help stayed with me, a reminder of the unexpected line in the unknowable depths of the wilderness. The forest held its secrets close, and I knew I would never forget that night when the stillness of the wilderness was shattered by a distant cry for help from a place wherein one should have been story 9. It was supposed to be a quick trip, just a drive through a remote area to clear my head and enjoy the solitude of the open road. The sun was setting, casting a warm orange glow over the endless stretch of trees and rolling hills. It was miles from the nearest town with nothing but the sound of my car's engine and the hum of the tires and the asphalt to keep me company as I drove deep into the wilderness. Sense of isolation grew stronger. The road was empty and the unseen and the car for out as it was peaceful, almost too peaceful, but I relished the chance to escape soustly and bustle of everyday life. Suddenly, without warning, my car began to sputter and lech. I glanced at the dashboard, my heart sinking as hizo se temperature gauge needle climbing into the red. I pulled over to the side of the road and turned off the engine. The silence that followed almost deafening in its abruptness. Stepped out of the car and opened the hood. Plume of steam rising from the engine casing and my breath. I realized I was in the middle of nowhere, with no cell service and no way to call for help. I grabbed my phone and walked a few paces down the road, holding it up in the air in a vain attempt to find a signal. Nothing. As I turned back to my car, I felt a prickle of unease. The woods on either side of the road were dense and dark, the trees casting long shadows that seemed to move and shift in the fading light. I was about to return to my car when I caught a glimpse of something in the corner of my eye. A figure standing at the edge of the woods, partially obscured by the trees. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest. The figure didn't move, just stood there watching me. I couldn't make out any details in the dim light, but the presence was unmistakable. A shiver ran down my spine as I realized I was not alone. Hello, I called out, my voice trembling slightly. Can I help you? There was no response. The figure remained still, its gaze fixed on me. Panic began to rise within me. I had no way of knowing if this peasant was a threat, but their silent tumbling instantly was unnerving. I backed toward my car, keeping my eyes on the figure. Anxiety me when I reached the driver's side door. I fumbled with the handle and slipped inside, locking the doors behind me. Stared through the windshield, hoping the figure would go away, but it didn't. It stood there, a dark silhouette against the backdrop of the trees. I grabbed my phone again, desperately trying to find a signal. Still nothing. My mind raced with possible scenarios, each more terrifying than the last. What if this peasant had bad intentions? What if they were waiting for the right moment to approach? Minutes felt like hours as I sat there, my eyes darting between the figure and the dashboard. The temperature inside the car was rising, but I didn't dare turn on the engine for fear of attracting unwanted attention. I needed to think of a plan, and first, taking a deep breath, I decided to try and communicate one more time. I rolled down the window, just a crack enough to speak through, but not enough for anyone to reach inside. Hey, I shouted, trying to sound more confident than I felt. Is there something you need? For a moment, there was silence, and slowly the figure began to move. It stepped out of the shadows and into the waning light, revealing a man in ragged clothes, his face obscured by a hood. I walked toward the car, his movements slow and deliberate. My heart pounded in my chest as I watched him approach. I stopped a few feet from the car's face. Still hidden car travel, he asked, his voice raspy and low enough that my throat dried overheated. I think the man stood there for a moment as if contemplating his next move. Neither lifted. Finally hesitated, every instinct telling me not to trust him now. I think I'll wait for help, I said, trying to sound polite, but when the man didn't move. There's no help coming, I said, not out here. Panic surged through me. I glanced at my phone again, praying for a miracle. Still no signal. I looked back. It's a managing to assess the situation. His stance was relaxed, but there was something unsettling about him, something that made my skin crawl. I appreciate the offer, I said carefully, but I'll be fine. The man chuckled softly, a sound that sent a chill down my spine. Break yourself, I said, but you might be waiting a long time. He turned and walked back toward the woods, disappearing into the shadows as quickly as he had appeared. I watched until I was sure he was gone, my body trembling with a mixture of fear and relief. As soon as I felt it was safe, I got out of the car and grabbed my backpack from the trunk. I couldn't stay there. I had to find help, even if it meant walking for miles. Slang Se backpack over my weather and started down. Set out lensing back a few minutes to make sure it wasn't being for your wet, se stand deep below the horizon, plunging the world into darkness, switched on my flashlight, and kept moving the beam. Cutting through the night, eveiras al lince under Bruceberry. Shadow that moved in the pathway of my vision, set my neps on edge, I kept walking fueled the adrenaline and say I need to put distance between myself and them and from the woods hours later, just. As exhaustion was beginning to take its toll, I saw legs approaching in the distance. Relief washed over me as a truck pulled up alongside me, the driver rolling down the window to ask if I needed help. He explained my situation and offered to take me to the nearest town as he climbed into. The passenger seat, I glanced back one last time at the darkened road, grateful to leave it behind. The driver was a kind middle the headman. WHO introduced himself as time he listened to my story. With concerned as we drove away, he assured me that he was safe now, but even as we left that remote stretch of highway behind, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The memory of the figure in the woods haunting me long after I had reached the safety of civilization. Story days babysitting for the Miles was always an easy job. Their two kids, Lil and Max, were polite, well behaved, and went to bed without much fuss. The Millers lived in a cozy suburban neighborhood, the kind of place where everyone knew each other. Nothing but ever seemed to happen. So when they asked me to watch the kids one Saturday night, I agreed without hesitation. The evening started uneventful. The Miles had left for a dinner party, promising to be back by midnight. Lily and Max were engrossed in a board game when I arrived, and after a quick dinner in a movie, I ushered them upstairs to bed by las 9:30 p. The house was silent, save for the hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak of the settling structure. I settled down to the couch with a book, enjoying the rare moments of quiet outside the light. Rain began to fall, pattering gently against the windows. The soft sound was almost soothing, and I found myself getting lost in the pages of my ultimate sleep. And before I knew it, the clock showed las 11 p. And just as I was about to get up for a snack, I heard a noise that sent a chill down my spine, the unmistakable sound of someone trying the front door handle. Froze, training to listen, convinced that I must have imagined it, but there it was again, a faint rattle as the handle was higgled, followed by a soft insistent knock. Panic surged through me. The Miles weren't supposed to be home until late, and no one else was expected. I tiptoed to the front door and peered through the peephole, my heart pounding in my chest. The porch light, cast dim below, but all I could see was an empty doorstep and the rain soaked street beyond. I held my breath, waiting for another sound, another sign that someone was out there. The seconds stretched into minutes, and just when I thought it might be safe to relax, I heard a whisper, lowerly audible meme, as if someone was standing just out of sight, peeking in. Used on SB instinct screamed at me to lock the door, but I already knew it was secure. I crept away from the entrance and grabbed my phone, my hands shaking as I dialed the Miles number. It rang once or twice, and then went a voicemail. I left a hate message telling to keep my voice calm, and then I called 911. The dispatcher was calm and professional, assuring me that a patrol car was on the way. She advised me to stay on the line and keep the doors locked. I followed her instructions, retreating to the kitchen where I could see both the front and back entrances. Minutes later, I heard the reassuring sound of sirens in the distance. The flashing lights of the police car illuminated the front yard, and two of us stepped out. The area they knocked on the door, identifying themselves, and I rushed to let them in. "Are you alright?" one of the officers asked, his eyes scanning the room for any signs of trouble. "I'm fine," I replied, my voices aquí, but someone was trying the door handle. Here dispersed of us exchanged a glance, and then did a sweep up the house and yard. They found nothing, no footprints, no signs of forced entry, nothing to indicate that anyone had been there. It was as if the intruder had vanished into thin air. "We'll keep a car in the area for the rest of the night," the second of us said, his tone reassuring. "If anything else happens, don't hesitate to call." I thanked them and watched as they left. The adrenaline slowly ebbing away. The house was quiet again, but the sense of unease lingered. I double-checked all the locks and made my way upstairs to check on the kids. They were still sound asleep, blissfully unaware of the night's events. I sat back down on the couch, my book forgotten. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Every creak of the house, every gust of window would seemed amplified, keeping me on edge. I turned on the TV for some background noise, hoping it would drown out my fears, but the tension remained. Just before midnight, I heard the familiar sound of the Miles car pulling into the driveway. Relief washed over me as I hate to greet them. I recounted the evening's events, and they were both consent and apologetic. "I'm so sorry you had to go through that," Mrs. Miles said, her face pale. "We've never had any trouble in this neighborhood before. We'll have the locks checked and maybe install a security system immediately. Thank you for Handling it so way ye left their house with a sense of lingering and is the night's events replaying in my mind as I walked to my car. I couldn't help but glance over my shoulder head, expecting to see a shadow I figure. Lurking in the darkness, the drive home was tense, my nerves still frayed, but I made it back safely and collapsed into bed exhausted. In the days that followed, I couldn't shake the feeling that something or someone had been out there that night. Se whispered a rattling door handle. They were too ill to dismiss my imagination. I took a break from babysitting for a while. The meme up that night, lingering like a dark cloud. Months later, I had through the neighborhood grapevine that apparently had been cut a few streets over. I had been targeting houses in the area, looking for easy entry points. The Mills house had likely been one of his targets that night, and the police presence had scared him off. The revelation brought some closer reboot. Se meme up that unsettling night stayed with me. It was a stark reminder that even in the safest places the unexpected could happen, and that in bail-up security we all rely on could be easily pierced with unknown story once it was supposed to be a routine overnight stop during a long road trip in an assuming roadside motel with a flickering neon sign that proclaimed vacancy. The weary stretch of highway had guided me there as dusk settled over the landscape. The last traces of daylight fading into a dusky pepper hue. The motel itself was a relic from another era, a single-story building with faded paint and a row of rooms facing a cracked parking lot. I parked my car on the flicking street, lamp gravel crunching under my tires. I retrieved my bags from the trunk exhausted from hours of driving. I welcomed the prospect of a hot shower and a few hours of sleep before hitting Serrada again. The motel office was dimly lit there. Heavy windows and a bold carpet and style cafe attire looking like greeted me from behind the warm wooden counter. Her expression a mix of boredom and resignation. I exchanged a few words with her as she handed me a runky a plain metal tech with the number 2 stamp tonic jet night. Tonight, she remarked, her voice flattened indifferent. I nodded to tie it to muster more, then a polite smile with key in hand. I made my way across the parking lot to my room, the gravel crunching softly beneath my footsteps. Room 12 was at the end of zero, its door painted a faded shade of blue and secured with a still inside the room was as expected, sparsely furnished with a queen-sized bed, a small TV mounted on the wall, and a faded painting of a generic landscape above the headboard. The air conditioning met softly in the corner, offering a welcome respite from the lingering heat outside. I dropped my bags on the bed and checked my phone. No messages, no missed calls outside. Celeste light of day faded into darkness, leaving serum bediness of artificial glow from the bedside lamp. The weariness of the road caught up with me, and I quickly stripped off my clothes and crawled under the scratchy motel seats. Sleep came swiftly, a blessed escape from the monotony of the Guayanse and familiar surroundings. For a few hours all was quiet and still, then sometime in the dead of night I stayed awake, a vague sense of unease pulling me from slumber. It took a moment for my surroundings to register the dimly lit motel room, the faint hum of the air conditioner, the muffled sounds of the highway outside, and then I noticed its absence of weight in my pocket. The missing weight of the room key. Panic surged through me as I set up my heart pounding in my chest. Had I misplaced it, dropped it somewhere, or was had someone taken it? I scanned the room frente a my eyes darting from the nightstand to the floor to the small desk by the window. No sign of the key. With trembling hands I reached for my phone. The soft glow illuminating the room as I dialed the front desk. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times before the tired voice of the clerk answered front desk. She matted, head on tilting with indifference. My room key is missing. I bleated out, my voice shaky with fear. I think someone might have taken it. There was a pause and the end of the line followed. Via I sent some money over, she replied, her voice devoid of sympathy or urgency. I hung up the phone and sat on the edge of the bed, my mind racing with worst case scenarios. Had someone been in my room while I slept? Were they planning to come back? Se la the door suddenly seemed flimsy and in a what a thin barrier between me and whatever was outside. The sifanku I had it a soft click barely audible over the hum of the air condition as someone was trying to unlock the door from the outside. The adrenaline surged through me as I leapt off the bed, my pulse thundering in my ears. Without thinking I rushed to the door and pressed my weight against it, my hands shaking as I fumbled for the chain lock with a trembling hand. I slid it into place, praying that it wobbled outside. The sound of fumbling continued, a key scraping against the lock, the handle jiggling slightly. Whoever was out there was determined, persistent. Hello, I called out, my voice trembling with fear. Who's there? There was no response, just a steady click of the lock and the muffled sound of movement on the other side of the door. My heart pounded in my chest as I backed away, my eyes fixed on the door, waiting for it to burst open at any moment. Minutes stretched into eternities. I stood there, my back pressed against the wall, my breath coming in short, panicked gasps. The motel room felt like a cage of shadow, and Craig McNiff yet be my heightened senses, and then abruptly sesound outside. Stopped silence as it broken only by the distant hum of traffic, ante pounding at my own heart. I waited holding my breath and sure of what would happen next. Eventually the first trace of dawn began to filter through the curtains, casting a pale light into the room. The tension in my muscles slowly as I cautiously approached the door, peering through the peephole. I saw nothing but the empty parking lot and the faint outline of the highway. Beyond the jet washed over me mingled with a deep sense of unease. Had it been a prank, a mistake, or something more sinister? I gathered my belongings quickly, my hands still trembling as I packed my bags and left the room at the front desk. The clerk offered no explanation or apology. Her expression unchanged as she took back her key with an nonchalant gesture. I left the motel without looking back, my mind racing with unanswered questions and a newfound weariness of roads and accommodations. Se restapla Jenny pest inable memory of the night haunting me long after I reached my destination. I vowed never to stay in a roadside motel again. My sense of security shattered by a key that disappeared in the door that someone had tried to unlocking. The dead of Nick story does walking on my friend's birthday party was supposed to be a routine stroll through familiar streets. The night I was crisp-filled with the lingering warmth of late summer left and snippets of conversation echoed behind me encima de mi way down the dimly lit sidewalk. The faint glow of street lights casting long shadows on the pavement. Sarah's party had been a lively affair filled with music, dancing, and catching up with old friends. I had lost track of time and enjoying the company and the chance to unwind after a hectic week. But now as I walked alone, the cheerful buzz of the party faded into the quiet solitude of the night. It was when I turned to a quieter residential street that I first noticed then a group of men clustered together on the opposite side of the road. They were loud, their voices carrying across the stillness of the night as they joked and left amongst themselves. Instinctively, I quickened my pace a flick of an instinct in the pit of my stomach as I walked. Their left attending to call crude remarks that made my skin crawl. I tried to ignore them, focusing on the path ahead and willing myself to reach the safety of the apartment building just a few blocks away. But their voices grew louder, their footsteps echoing ominously behind me. I glanced over my shoulder, air pounding in my chest. The men were following me now, their figures silhouetted against the dim glow of street lights. Fear surged through me. Sure pensed as I realized the gravity of the situation. My steps faltered briefly, uncertainty and dread wearing within me. Don't be scared, sweetheart, one of them called out, his voice led with alcohol. We just want to talk to ya. I weakened my passette agency of escape, propelling me forward. My mind raced with options. Should I call someone? Should I run? But panic threatened to overwhelm me, clouding my thoughts and leaving me paralyzed with fear. Semen closed the distance between us, their voices growing more insistent, more aggressive. Hey, you were going down, delicate. I dared not look back again, fearing what I might see. My heart hammered in me, my chest each beat a frantic plea for safety. Sweat trickled down my back, despite the coolness of the night. My senses heightened to the point of overload ahead. I spotted a convenience store with its bright fluorescent lights spilling onto the sidewalk. Relief flooded through me like a lifeline with renewed emanation. I broke into a run, my footsteps echoing loudly in the stillness of the night behind me. I heard their shouts grow louder and grinned menacing. Hey, get back here, we ain't done with ya. Yet adrenaline surged through me as I reached the store, throwing open the door, and stumbling inside. The cashier glanced up in surprise as I gasped for breath, my heart racing and my hands trembling. I fumbled from my phone, fingers shaking as I dialed 911 desperate for help. Semen lingered outside, their voices muffled through the glass doors as they exchanged kisses, and Triad's fear gripped me in a vice like hold the realization of how close I'd come to danger sinking in with each passing second. The cashier, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes, rushed to my side, the concerned shade on her face. Are you okay, honey? Do you need me to call someone for you? In a thirsting in my eyes, relief washed over Mese operator's worried her voice calm and reassuring as he explained the situation. Help was on the way, she assured me, urging me to stay inside until the police arrived. Minutes passed like hours. I waited, the tension in the apple pavement outside grew restless. Their sobs growing more desperate as they realized their prey had slipped through their fingers. I huddled near the cashier, her presence comforting and key in the midst of turmoil. Finally, the flashing lights of a police car illuminated the store, casting a flickering red and blue glow across the walls of as emerged from the vehicle, their presence a welcome sight. They approached the men outside, the voices firm and commanding as they dispersed the group and took statements from witnesses. Relief flooded through me as I watched from the safety of the store. Grateful for the swift responsible enforcement, the men were apprehended without further incident, their bravado crumbling in the face of authority. After giving my statement to the police and thanking the concerned cashier, I was escorted safely home. The rest of the night, pestinable of emotions, fear, gratitude, and the lingering sense of vulnerability that Gusta vid melomnefte da insadantin. The days that followed, if owns salasinda supportab friends and loved ones, there can no remind of the strength that comes from community. I took precautions to ensure my safety, avoiding walking alone at night and remaining vigilant in and familiar. Soundings the experience left its mark a cautionary tale of the dangers that can lie just beyond the glow of street lights, but it also reinforced my resilience, reminding me of the importance of trusting my instincts and seeking help when needed. As time passed, the fear replaced by a quiet determination to reclaim my sense of security. I refused to let fear dictate my life, choosing instead to focus on the moments of joy and connection that continued to brighten my days, and yet beneath safe as a part of me remained forever changed, very watchful and grateful, forever safe. Our Naomi story 3 and head deep below the horizon, casting long shadows across the forest floors. He said, vida crackling comforted warmth, the comforting barrier against the encroaching night chill. The woods around me seemed to come alive with nocturnal sounds, rustling leaves, distant calls of wildlife, and the occasional snap of a twig and the unseen footsteps. It was a familiar symphony of the wilderness, one that as usually soothed my soul during these solo camping trips, but tonight was different as I settled into my sleeping bag inside the small downtown exhaustion tag that my eyelids promising a night of restful sleep under the canopy of stars. Yet just as I was on the cusp of slumber, a sound pierced the quiet alogutal growl that sent a shiver down my spine. I froze hard, pounding in my chest as I strained to listen. The growl came again, closer this time, accompanied by the faint rustling of underbrush last beyond the thin fabric of the tent. Panic surged through my adrenaline coursing through my veins as I reached for the flashlight, beside me with trembling hands, and unzipped the tent. Flippant peered into the darkness. The beam of light pierced the night, illuminating the immediate vicinity in a narrow cone of brightness, but there was nothing, no eyes gleaming in the darkness, no shape lacking among the trees. I hesitated, torn between the instinct to investigate and the rational urge to retreat inside the safety of my tent. The growls had ceased, replaced by an eerie silence that seemed to press in on me. With a deep breath, I stepped up to the flashlight, sweeping the area as I scanned for any sign of movement. The forest stood silent and still, its ancient trees towering overhead like silent sentinels. The beam of my flashlight danced across the forest floor, casting long shifting shadows that seemed to whisper secrets of their own, but there was nothing, no trace of the source of the unsettling sounds. The thought stepped my solitude and is settled over me like a vibrant cat as I returned to the tent, heart still racing from the adrenaline fueled encounter. I lay awake for hours, strained for any hint of the mysterious presence that had stayed in the night. Eventually exhaustion claimed me, and I drifted into a fitful sleep haunted by heavy-formed dreams. When I awoke with the first light of dawn, the events of the night seemed like a distant memory, a trick of the mind born from the isolation of the wilderness. But as I emerged from the tent and stretched stiff muscles, I noticed something that sent a chill down my spine. Fresh footprints in the perimeter of my campsite, imprinted in the soft earth with clear definition. They were large and unmistakably human, their edges still crisp with the impression of recent passage. Fears drew me, and no primal instinct in caution as I scanned the forest for any sign of movement. Were what had visited my campsite in the dead night, leaving behind these sounding imprints. The growls, the rustling, were they connected to this mysterious visit, or was there something else lurking in the shadows, unseen and unknown? With a sense of unease, knowing that my gut followed the trail of footprints tracing their path through the underbrush, they led deep into the forest, weaving through dense thickets and winding around towering trees. Each step filled me with a mix of curiosity and apprehension, the unknown beckoning me forward. Even escassion urged retreat as I ventured farther from the safety of my campsite. The forest seemed to close in around me, its dense foliage obscuring the path ahead. The agreed color carrying with it the scent of the pet and decaying leaves. It was a stark contrast to the warmth of the campfire and the safety of my tent, a reminder of the wilderness is unpredictable nature, a space in a haze of exploration. Each turn of the trail revealing new mysteries and unanswered questions. The footprints continued a silent testament to the presence that had passed through this remote corner of the forest, yet there was no sign of the mysterious visit, no indication of where they had come from or where they had gone. As the sun climbed high in the sky, I reluctantly decided to return to my campsite. The weight of unanswered questions heavy on my mind, the journey back seemed longer, the forest more imposing as shadows stretched across the forest floor. I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched advancing ice trekking. Every move. By the time I reached the clearing where my tent stood, the sun was at its zenith, casting a warm golden glow over the campsite. I surveyed the area on a last message, searching for any clue that might shed light on the mysterious events of the night, but the footprints remained the only evidence, a haunting reminder of dancing forces that could lag within the wilderness depths. I picked up my campsite in silence, the memory of That night etched into my mind like a ghostly imprint as he drove away from the secluded campsite. The forest retreated into the rear view mirror. Its secrets hidden once more beneath the upgrade. The experience had left me with a newfound respect for Seuntamed Wilden as a reminder that even in solitude the unknown could always be lurking just beyond the edge of perception. Story 14. A quaint small town hotel seemed like the perfect retreat, a charming brick facade nestled amidst towering oaks. Its welcoming glow promised in a peaceful night's rest had shows a need for its rust charm in the promise of solitude, hoping to win after weeks of hectic work schedules and bustling city life. As I checked into my room on the second floor, exhaustion washed over me. The day had been long, filled with endless meetings and deadlines. The hotel room, though simply offered a sanctuary, a plush that, with crisp linens, a cozy armchair by the window overlooking the quiet street below, and a small right writing desk bathed in the soft glow of a bedside lamp. A quick shower, I settled onto the bed, the mattress yielding beneath me as I closed my eyes, welcoming the embrace of sleep. The night outside was calm, soundless, ounce, the occasional rustle of lips in the distant meme of traffic and time. Past midnight I awoke with a start, a faint rhythmic sound appears. It's a silence pulling me from the depths of sleep. It was a sound I couldn't quite place at first, a soft steady breathing almost imperceptible, like a whisper carried on the breeze. Heart pounding, I sat up in bed, straining to locate the source of this sound. Was it coming from within the room, or was it from outside just beyond the window pane? I held my breath, listening intently. Breathing continued, a slow, deliberate inhale and exhale. It seemed to come from just outside the window, barely audible yet unmistakably real. With trembling hands, I reached for the bedside lamp, casting a warm pool of light across the room. Curtains billowed gently in the breeze. The moonlight filled the intrusive fabric outside. The street below lay quiet and deserted, bathed in a soft glow from the griega lit street lamps. Summoning my cage, I tiptoed to the window, heart racing in my chest. Pulling back the curtain, I peered into the night, scanning the darkness beyond, but there was nothing, just the stillness of the sleeping town, the branches of the oak trees swaying gently in the night air. I frowned, puzzled and unnerved. Could it have been my imagination playing tricks on me in the silence of the night, or was there someone or something out there watching and waiting, deciding to dismiss it as a moment of fatigue-induced paranoia? I returned to bed, determined to salvage what remained of the night. Yet despite my efforts to relax the memory of the terrible lingered like a shadow in the back of my mind. Minutes ticked by, each one stretching into an eternity as I lay awake, listening for any sign of the mysterious sound. But the night remained yet so breathing, lost to the stillness of the ears. Just as I began to drift back into a fitful sleep, it returned a soft and mistakable exhale, closed distant eye, snapped open, pulse quickening as I sat upright in bed once more. Seconds met to have just beyond the window, teasing and elusive heart pounding. I threw caution to the wind and headed back to the window, determined to confront whatever or whoever was causing this unsettling disturbance. The curtains swayed gently as I peered outside, scanning the darkness for any movement, and then I saw a fleeting shadow darting across the pavement below, disappearing into the cave of the trees. My breath caught in my throat as I strained to make out more details, but the figure remained elusive. A ghostly silhouette in the moonlight, adrenaline surged through me as I fumbled for my phone. Fingers was trembling as I dialed the hotel reception. The voice on the other end was groggy with sleep, but I managed to stammer out my consents. A mysterious presence outside my window, breathing in the darkness. I'll send security right away, the receptionist assured me. Her voice with consent, please stay in your room and keep the door locked. I thanked her, heart pounding in my chest as I retreated from the window, the room suddenly feeling to expose the passage. Nervously I darted to the door, with the creak of the floorboards severe as of the curtains. The minutes stretched into hours as I waited, tension coiling in the pit of my stomach, the breathing as I said, leaving only the echo of my own racing heartbeat in the silence. Finally a soft knock. The door broke the stillness and the jump the flow in through me. I hate to open it, greeted by the hotel security guard, a middle-aged man with a reassuring demeanor. We've checked the area outside your window, he said, his voice calm. There's no wonder now. It could have been an animal or perhaps the wind. I nodded, trying to steady my trembling hands, but he had it clear as day. It was breathing right outside. He offered a sympathetic smile. Understand, say it's not uncommon for the wind or small animals to make strange noises at night. I'll keep an eye on the area, just to be safe. I thanked him, watching as he departed down the hallway alone. Once more I sank to the bed, exhaustion and relief washing over me in equal measure. The night had been a harrowing reminder of the unknown that could like just be and the safety of everyday life. As I lay in bed listening to the faint hum of the hotel's air conditioning, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease that lingered from the encounter. Had it truly been just the wind, or had something or someone been watching me from the shadows, breathing silently in the darkness? Sleep eventually claimed me, but the memory of that unsettling night would stay with me, a haunting reminder of the fragility of safety even in the most ordinary places. Story queens that decision to escape the city for a weekend retreat in a remote cabin nestled deep within the woods was meant to be a rejuvenating break from the hustle and bustle of Evan life as a drove. Along winding country roads, the landscape transformed from bustling streets to the forest. The air grew increased, with each passing mile the cabin a quaint wooden structure surrounded by towering pines appeared like a haven of tranquility when, if in a arrived stepping inside, it was greeted by the magnificent beige wood and the rustic charm of the interior's my living area, with a stone fireplace, a cozy kitchen, and a narrow staircase led into a loft bedroom, all reflected the simple comforts of seclusion. It felt like a place frozen in time, untouched by the chaos of the outside, while the excitement mingled with a hint of apprehension as I settled in and packing my bags and preparing to unwind. The solitude was both comforting and eerie. The silence broken only by the occasional rustling of leaves or distant cries of wildlife as dusk settled over the forest, casting long shadows through the cabin's windows. I lit a fire in the hearth and settled into a worn armchair with a bookcase. Past peacefully the crackling of the fire and the gentle flicker of its light against the walls created a soothing ambience, yet as darkness enveloped the cabin a subtleties began to creep into my thoughts. The isolation while in it beating now felt isolating. The forest beyond the windows seeming to pressing closer with each passing minute. I decided to explore the immediate surroundings, hoping a short walk would dispel my growing unease. Stepping outside into the cool night air, I followed a narrow path wound through the dense foliage. The moonlight filtered through the trees, casting ethereal patterns on the forest floor. Despite the beauty and foreboding, lingered a whisper of doubt that refused to fade. Returning to the cabin, I locked the door behind me, suddenly aware of the vulnerability of my solitude. The fireplace crackled, casting dancing shadows across the walls. I poured myself a glass of wine, hoping to calm my nerves, but the message I discovered on the window shattered any semblance of tranquility in that thick layer of dust, and the low pane of the window facing the forest clear as day, where the words had out my heart traced the sister that the man's message how had it. That there was someone else in the cabin, playing a cruel prank, or was there something more sinister playing this remote walls? With trembling hands, I wiped away the message, half expecting to find someone standing outside watching the forest. However, remained still and silent, its secrets concealed. In the darkness beyond the cabin watch, I double-checked all the locks and through the curtains tightly shut, trying to banish the sense of being watched. Sleep was elusive. Death nicked the very creak of the cabin. Eve gust a wind through the trees, simp, amplified, heightening my unease. The fire burned low, casting elongated shadows that danced across the ceiling. I clutched the blanket, the yarrow, and listening intently for any sound out of place. Morning brought little relief. The sun's rays filtered through the dense canopy, casting a dull light across the cabin's interior. I tried to convince myself that the message had been a prank or a figment of my ubective imagination, but doubt lingered. Like a persistent fog outside, the forest appeared. Serenade's beautiful in the tension that coiled within me. I hesitated to venture far from the cabin, feeling exposed and vulnerable in the vast expanse of wilderness. Instead, I busied myself with my tasks inside tidying up, making a simple breakfast, anything to distract from the unsettling events of the previous night as the day wore on. I debated whether to cut my retreat short and return to the familiarity of the city, yet as to born curiosity urged me to stay to confront what the unseen presence had left. That chilling message, and I descended once more, bringing with it a renewed sense of dread. I lit a lamp and kept the fire blazing, hoping to ward off the shadows that seemed to gather its cabin edges. The space slowly, each minute stretching into an eternity of anxious vigilance, just as I was beginning to resignate myself to another sleepless night. A soft tapping sound echoed through the cabin, my breath caught in my throat as I strained to locate its source. It came again, this time from the direction of the window where the message had been written. Summoning every ounce of courage, I approached cautiously, heart pounding in my chest. The tapping grew loud, the rhythmic yet erratic. With trembling hands, I drew back the curtain and peered outside. There on the windowsill sat a small bearded jay, its feathers ruffled by the night breeze. Its beady eyes met mine, and for a moment time seemed to stand still. Then with a flutter of wings, it took flight. Disappearing into the darkness, relief washed over me in a wave. The message that tapping it had obediently wake up a curious bed, leaving its mark in the dust, and seeking shelter on the window sill. A weight lifted from me so wilderness as I realized the innocent explanation behind the unsettling events in the days that followed. I embraced the solitude of the cabin with renewed appreciation. The forest no longer seemed ominous, but rather a sanctuary of quiet reflection. I explored the trails during the day, raving in the beauty of nature, and returned to the cabin at night with a newfound sense of peace. The message on the window had been a wake-up call, a reminder of the power of perception, and the Unpredictability of the wilderness it had tested my resolve and taught me to confront fear with curiosity rather than retreat as I packed my bags to leave the cabin since small yet infinitely rich with the memories of my weekend stay that yes. Visit had transformed the moment of terror into a lesson in resilience, leaving me grateful for the experience of solitude and safety found in the heart of the forest.